And welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 19, and I'm recording on April 7th, 2024. I just finished watching the movie The Champ, which is the first one in this new round of Oscars from the fifth ceremony, which was 1931 to 1932 movies. And this I watched on Turner Classic Movies, which I have Hulu, so I just watched it through that channel on Hulu. So it was free. Yay. So The Champ, as Wikipedia says, is 1931 American pre-code film starring Wallace Beery and Jackie Cooper. Jackie Cooper was also in Skippy, which I just reviewed in the last round of Oscar movies. And the one I said, he really just has an old man's face. He's probably about 10 in this, and he just looks like an old man. And again, I think, what I know him from is Superman movies is Perry White, and he was older in that, obviously. So I don't know if that's just why, like, he has exactly the same face, so it just makes it seem old, but it just looks like an old face. This is directed by King Vidor. Not sure how you say that. As I said, stars Wallace Beery, Jackie Cooper, also Irene Rich and Roscoe at 80s. And this one it was nice and short, about 86 minutes, which I like. This was, and I was also going to say Wallace Beery is also in the winner of this year's Oscars, Grand Hotel. So I don't know what kind of role he plays in that, but he is in two of the movies. And Jackie Cooper was in, 2 years back to back. He was in movies that were nominated for Best Picture. So this one was pretty good. I liked it so far. It's the first one I watched, so it's at the top of the list. But it was really good. Jackie Cooper is a really good actor as a child, so he pulls another one out here. And the basic story of this, they remade this in 1979 with Jon Voight and Ricky Schroder, and I'm pretty sure it's basically the same story. So I sort of knew a little bit of the story. I've never seen that one either, but I knew of it and sort of knew the ending. Wasn't sure that this one was going to have the same ending, but I think it basically did. And the story is Wallace Beery plays Andy Champ Purcell. His son is Dink Purcell, played by Jackie Cooper, and he lives in Tijuana, Mexico. He's a former world heavyweight champion. He's down on his luck. He's out of his league now. He can't get fights. He gambles everything, every dime he has away, or drinks it away. So in the beginning, he's training for a fight. He's supposed to meet with these promoters to get him a big fight. It's going to get him money, and the night before he goes and gets drunk and doesn't, or during the day right before the meeting, he gets drunk, and so they don't pick him up for the fight. He does, as a way to kind of make it up to his son, he buys him a horse and they name it Little Champ. When they're at the racetrack, Dink meets a woman named Linda and her husband named Tony, and he tells them that his horses, they have a horse as well, I believe, but he tells them, "Oh, my horse is going to win." So they put money on his horse. They just throw money around. They're just like, "Oh, $50 in 1931. We'll put it on your horse." So his horse actually does pretty well and then falls right before it wins. So it doesn't end up winning. But Tony, the husband of Linda, sees Andy Champ and realizes that it's Linda's former. I'm not sure if they were just together, if they were married. Linda later sees the Champ as well and realizes that Dink is actually her son. And Champ had gotten custody of him, I guess, when they split up. She's now married to Tony. They have a daughter. So they ask if they can meet with the kid. And he does. He goes and meets with him, and she tells him she's his mother, and he doesn't quite understand and doesn't really care. He goes back to the Champ. And then they ask if they can take him. They say, "Can we just take him? We'll put him in school. We'll pay pay everything." And he refuses, but then he goes and gambles away all his money again. And they gave him $200 to let the kid come and see the mother. He gambles all the money away again, and even gambles away the horse. So to get money back for the horse, he tells them that they can take him. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. He just goes to Linda and asks for the money, and she gives it to him. And then instead of giving the guy that he owes the money for the horse, he just gambles that away again. So he goes to jail. He starts a fight. He goes to jail, and so he kind of gives up and says, "All right, I'm going to give the kid to Linda," and he does. But while they're traveling by train, they make a stop, and the kid Dink escapes. He runs away and goes back to the champ. In the meantime, somehow the champ has gotten the opportunity to fight this Mexican heavyweight champion. And Dink comes back just in time to see this happen. And at first, the champ is like, because the kid is gone, he's despondent and doesn't want to fight, won't get up, won't train. And his promoters are like, you got to train. They want to put it in the papers and all this stuff. When the kid comes back, he finally perks up and he wants to fight for the kid. And if he wins, he's going to get, the horse back and all this stuff. So he goes and has the fight. And I won't, I know I've been like spoiling every one of these movies, and my excuse being that it's from 1931. So, if you may have heard about it, you may have not. At this point, it's not my problem, I guess, if I spoil it. But I guess with some of these, I shouldn't, and maybe I'll try not to going forward. So with this one, I won't. But in the end, so he has the fight, and then stuff happens. But it was pretty good. It again, like I said, Jackie Cooper is really good for his age. I don't know, like he was in a lot of stuff and ended up going into like TV in the 70s, 80s. And then, not really any movies until all 4 Superman movies. And those were basically like 1, 2, 3, 4 in his credits. He didn't really have a lot of work even in between those. So, but he was pretty amazing early on. And the guy that plays his father is really good. So I did enjoy this one a lot. The father and son had great chemistry. And I feel like the ending of this probably in 1931 was like, it was emotional. And I feel like it was probably very much so back then. So there's some stuff here in Wikipedia. This film, along with Beery's role in Min and Bill, catapulted his career. He played the champ. He signed a contract with MGM shortly thereafter. This picture also made 9-year-old Jackie Cooper the first child star of the 1930s, an era noted for its numerous popular child actors. And again, he was also in Skippy the same year. So at the time the movie was released, they criticized the film's lack of originality. For example, the New York Times declared that something more novel and subtle was needed, although it also praised Beery's acting, very much like Variety too, very much like Beery in the film, noting he delivered a studied adult performance. And he did. It was, they still have that sort of pitter patter talk from that time period, but he was very grounded in the role. The Champ has been described as an inverted women's film because men in the film are not generally depicted at the top of the socioeconomic ladder, but are shown as primary child care provider. That makes sense. The famous final scene in which the camera is thrust into Jackie Cooper's weeping face has been compared to similar aggressive and intrusive camera work in classic motion pictures. In the film, so Roberto Rossellini. Champs had significant cultural effect. A number of motion pictures in the 1930s, some of them also starring Wallace Beery, repeated the basic story about a man surrendering to drink and redeemed by the love of his long-suffering son. Film critic Judith Crist has argued that almost any film pairing an adult actor alongside a child actor must be compared to The Champ in terms of the chemistry between the actors and the effectiveness of the film. Film had an immediate effect on world cinema as well. It's considered one source film which inspired Yasujiro Ozu's classic Japanese film Passing Fancy. The film was in part the inspiration for The Father and Son in the Berenstain Bears book. Movies were remade in 1952 as The Clown, starring Red Skelton as a washed-up clown rather than a washed-up boxer. It was remade again in 1979 by Franco Zeffirelli with John Boyd and Rick Schroeder. So, yeah, I like this one a lot. Hopefully, I'm excited because this round of Oscars is relatively short. The longest one is The Winner at an 112 minutes. This one is 86 and it's the shortest. Oh no, one of them 78. So yeah, I mean, most of them are 90, less than 95 minutes. There are two that are over an hour and 40 minutes. Perfect. 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 So yeah, first one on the 1931 to 32 list down, and I enjoyed it. So hopefully the rest are equally as good. I'll see you next time.